Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Wednesday, the 21st of Muharram 1445, corresponding with the English date 9th of August 2023. Hazrat Wala is saying and speaking about the Ashghal Sufiya ka maqsood, the purpose of these ashghal, the spiritual exercises and practices of the Sufis. Now, when Hazrat Sayyid Saheb, when he went to Hazrat Shah Abdul Aziz, when he went into his khidmat, and Shah Abdul Aziz asked him to carry out some ashghal, spiritual exercises, then he understood that no, not this year. So he took him to another path, and that was the Ashghal-e-Sunnat. He put him onto the path of the Sunnat. Now the Shaykh uses his discretion in designating these ashghal and spiritual practices and exercises for the murid. So here Hazrat Shah Waliullah Rahimahullah further states that the purpose of the various spiritual practices promoted in the four famous Salasil schools of Tasawwuf is to achieve Nisbat. However, it is not restricted to this only. He writes, "Dear reader, do not think that these ashghal and spiritual practices are the only way to achieve the Nisbat. Rather, these practices are only one of the many ways to achieve Nisbat. Therefore, I am almost convinced that the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum and the Tabi'een rahimahumullah achieved this Nisbat and Sakina in other ways. For example, one of the ways in which they achieved this was that they performed their Salah punctually, and they were particular about reciting Tasbih in solitude. Furthermore, in all of this, they paid special attention to tawazu, humility, complete submission, and concentration." Now Hazrat Wala here is saying that they were paband with their salat. They performed their salat punctually. They were particular about reading the Quran-e-Majid. Now how easy is it not been made? Just look at how it is presented and how easy it is made. And we don't even understand this. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to take 15-20 minutes just in making his wuzu. He was so particular in the way that he carried out his wudu. Once he was done with his wudu, then he would be restless. And we would say that Hazrat, there's still time for the salat, etc. Sometimes maybe the adhan did not even go or whatever it was. So then he would then immediately say that, what's the problem? What problem can there be? Should we not reach the masjid earlier? And then on other occasions, when Hazrat would be ready, and then now we would want to take him, and then he would say, "Itni jaldi? So quickly. I just finished my wudu and now you want to take me. Can't you understand a person, a sick person like me?" And we could understand the blood pressure, this, that. Samajna mushkil hota tha. It used to actually become difficult for us to understand sometimes exactly what Hazrat wanted. If we had to do this, then maybe it would not be right. And if we said this here, then that was not right. Lekin, asal yahi hai ke pehle pahunchna. The asal is this, that we reach and we go early. Sayyidina Zain al-Abidin used to go pale in the face when he used to prepare or sit down to carry out the wudu. And people would say to him, "Hazrat, how is it? Every time you sit down to make wudu, you go pale in the face?" And then he would say, are you not aware regarding the preparation that I'm carrying out for that Zat and being in front of whom I am going to stand. Are you not aware that I'm about to just and go and stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know, Hazrat Wala is saying that there was this judge. I mean, he used to come and he used to visit. Nevertheless, one day he came, and when he came, he was restless, pacing up and down. So I said to him, Wakil Saab, like, what's up? You're so restless, you're uneasy. So he's saying to me that, Maulana, I'm going to the High Court. But I said to him, the conversation goes on, but I mean, you are a lawyer. You're not the criminal. And he says, but to go to the High Court and to stand in front of the Supreme Judge is no easy task. Hazrat Wala is saying, at that, I thought so much about وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. That what about that person who fears standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thus, what does he do? He prevents his nafs from its desires. فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَىٰ. Then Jannat shall be the abode of that person. Hazrat Tanvi made this tariq and this path so easy. And Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, I'm not saying he's a mujaddid, but most definitely I'm saying he was mujtahid fi tariq. And regarding him, I can tell you this, asan tar asan kiya. He made the suluk and tasawwuf absolutely easy, absolutely easy. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, if an alim had to come, then that islah was showing that alim and opening up to him his weakness and deficiency in his ilm. There the islah for the alim was not this, hey, come on, you come here, take that broom and go and sweep the yard. There was no islah for an alim in him doing that, no. His islah was going to take place where he's made to understand that my ilm is insufficient, my ilm is weak, I don't even understand this. I don't even have the full understanding of this particular ayat of the Quran Majid. And there was one alim, prominent alim, and then Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, just his andaz, his style, just listen to this. He goes on and he reads, Wailul likulli humazatil lumaza. Tell me, what's the tarjuma of that? And he addresses that alim there. Bas, khatam. That's how Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to make islah. When Hazrat Qari Tayyib Sahab came to Allahabad, now Qari Tayyib Sahab was a teacher of Hujjatullah al-Baligha, but Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab takes up, I don't even know if he knew that Qari Sahab was teaching that kitab or not. He opens up the very same kitab, Hujjatullah al-Baligha, and then he comes to the bab of Taysirul Umur, and he speaks about that there, giving dars to the ustad of that particular kitab, speaking about how to make things easy. And so one duty of an alim deen is to make it as simple as possible for the person so that he can understand and make amal. And together with that, he must make dua. The alim needs to do two things. I never used to miss out a majlis, Hazrat Wala used to say, is saying that I had to be sitting there and I had to present the kitab from which Hazrat was going to read. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab made this path so easy. He would say that you didn't read Tahajjud, but tell me, you couldn't read Ishraq Salat? You got up for your Fajr, but after that you couldn't read Ishraq? Read Ishraq Salat. And at that time there, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you were actually going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the time of Tahajjud if you were blessed with those golden moments. Allah is like how He is there at the time of Tahajjud, He is also there at the time of Ishraq. Kas bashanwad ya nashanwad man guftagu mi kunam. Kas bashanwad ya na bashanwad man guftagu Mi kunam. Whether you hear or you don't hear, whether you listen or you don't listen, my duty is to pass on the message, and I will carry on talking. You know, sometimes people out of concern, they used to say to Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab that, Hazrat, with your health and this and that and the other, don't speak and give so much of bayan, etc. Then he would say, his impression of that, or his answer, what's happening here? Are these people preventing me? Are they stopping me from passing on this message of tariq and suluk, this path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are they stopping me from doing this work? बहुत मुश्किल था वहाँ रहना. To stay there where Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab was no simple task. Was it Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala an, or was it one of the other Sahaba? We're just speaking about here now that how the Sahaba got this nisbat by punctually reading their salat with so much of tawazu, khushu, total submission and concentration, that the spear or the arrow pierced his body and it was too painful, he could not take it out. Nevertheless, he had to carry on. I mean, the tip of that spear was deep into his body, but he carried on then. He still had to go and make his wudu, and this and that. I mean, he had to carry on. Somebody said, hey, if you people actually want to get the head of this spear out of his body, do me a favor, do it while he's reading salat. Because they had seen already, and they were so convinced about the salat that he used to perform. And that's exactly what they done. When he was busy with his salat, they removed that, and no pain whatsoever was perceived by him while he was reading his salat. That's how engrossed and how deep he was in his salat that he did not even understand at that time that they had taken it out from him. You know, Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Ahmad Sahab used to say about this, he used to say that the first fitna of Qiyamah will be when yaqeen of the Akhirat is snatched away from the hearts of people. What do you think? Do you think you'll just go muft sust into Jannah? No, you would have to do something, and you would have to have yaqeen of the Akhirat and Jannat and Jahannam. Nevertheless, we're speaking about the Salah. The essence of Salah, inna Salah, and its work, what it achieves for a person, tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. It will prevent a person from that which is immoral, the sins, the gunas, wickedness, etc. Fahsha and munkar. Wala dhikrullahi akbar. Now, have we even read? Are we even reading? Have you went through the kitab of Manzoor Nomani? Did you go to Kitab al-Riqaq, etc.? No. And we speaking here about this nisbat. And Hazrat Shah Waliullah is saying that it is not restricted. And he gives the examples of how even the Sahaba achieved this particular type of nisbat. But today what have we done? Tahajjarta wasi'a. Something which was so open, so vast, so much, so flowing. We restricted it and we closed it and we made it so narrow that it's only so much and it can only be achieved in this certain particular manner. So, Hazrat Shah Waliullah, Hazrat Shah Abdul Aziz, all these great personalities. Another way in which they achieved the nisbat was that they maintained inner and outer purity. Inner and outer purity. All the time. as well as remembering that which destroys all pleasures, such as death. They used to remember that constantly. They always bore in mind the rewards, bounties, and honor that Allah Ta'ala kept in store for those who obey Him, as well as the punishment and difficulty that awaits those who disobey Him, as a result of which they turned away from physical pleasures completely. All these things eradicated the love of the dunya from their hearts. Another way in which they achieved this nisbat and this strong connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was that they would recite Quran punctually, pondering over its meanings, together with listening to lectures and advice from the very depths of their hearts sincerely. Another way was that they listened to those ahadith that softened the heart. Kitabur Riqaq. The crux of what has been said is that the Sahaba Kiram and the Tabi'een rahimahumullah consistently practiced upon the above mentioned things. In other words, the good deeds that are promoted in the Sharia for a protracted period of time, due to which they developed a strong gift and spiritual hal condition by means of which they drew close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They maintained these practices for their entire lives, and they made muhafazat, they looked after it, as well as this caused their nisbat also then to increase all the time. This was the very same nisbat that we have inherited from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam via our mashayikh, one generation after the next, in which there is no shadow of doubt, proven through tawatur, although it takes various forms and there are various ways of achieving it. There is clear mention of the fact that the pious predecessors, Mashayikh and Akabirin, strove to achieve this strong and great gift, and they spent their lives for this, to achieving this nisbat and maintaining it. They weren't satisfied with just performing salat and fasting without achieving this gift, as is the case today. Rather, they remained busy and continuously made effort until they achieved this gift. They would neither rest, nor would they become unmindful or lax with regards to checking their nafs. Rather, they put even more effort and became even more aware of their spiritual and inner condition. So what can we say about that? Maktab-e ishq ka dekha ye nirala dastur. Isko chutti na mili, jisko sabat yaad rahe. In the school of ishq and love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the khanqa, in this place where you're trying to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while you're walking this path, I saw a unique rule, an usul and a principle. Maktab-e ishq ka dekha ya nirala dastur. And what was it? Whoever learns his lesson will get no break. The person who's achieving and going forward and improving and progressing in his nisbat and his connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for that person there is no question of taking a rest or being unmindful or lax or with regard to their nafs. Rather, they put in even more effort and become even more aware of their spiritual state. Hazrat Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Delvi is also saying that this great, powerful, unique gift, the nisbat ma'Allah, is something that has been passed down from one generation to the next. He also says that there is no doubt in it, hence it becomes a matter of consensus in each and every century. Nevertheless, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah ta'ala bless us with His muhabbat. Make dua that Allah ta'ala keeps the silsila where we gather here, and this type of majlis and discourse is imparted and disseminated here, where we speak about suluk, tariq and reaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What can I say about this? After this year, doing this one duty, having this majlis, I get so much of sukoon. And more than anything else, it is a takrar for me. So Allah Ta'ala bless me, bless you, my children, the people who are sitting here, all those who are connected. Rather, I would say, Allah Ta'ala bless the entire dunya with this great wealth and gift, with this nisbat. Whatever I can do, jitna kar sakta ho, karta. Let us make dua for afiyat darain, that Allah Ta'ala bless us with afiyat in both the worlds. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of treading the path of our Buzrugan Deen. Allah Ta'ala bless us with His muhabbat, His ma'rifat, His nisbat, His ta'alluq. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.